We're relentlessly driven to bring the best meat to the market, and we go straight to the source, which are the farms, in order to get that product. Our passion for the raw ingredient needs to shine through, and that's where the design world helps. Design needs to tell the story of who we are. It needs to tell the story of the farmers, of the butchers, of our product. I'm a third-generation butcher from Melbourne, Australia. My grandfather was a butcher. There was also farming in his family as well. And my father was a butcher, and then I went into the family business back in Australia. I married a Canadian girl, moved to Toronto, and started basically what we did in Australia, I started doing here. I wanted my store to be transparent, so you walk in from the front to the back, you can see everything, the butchers on stage, the cooks, the meat on display, where it's from. I wanted transparency, I wanted them to see everything. I wanted it to be almost like theater. The way we display the meat, it's all about art, it's all about visual. People eat with their eyes first, so it's very important that it's appealing. We've gone to so much back-end work in raising this livestock. We want to display it correctly, house it correctly, package it correctly, tell you how to cook it correctly. We want to do the product justice all the way through. It's got a lot of different design elements going on, and they all unfold as you come. Spending money on design is a long-term project for your brand. You need to invest in that. The market now has become so competitive that you need to stand out, you need to be unique, and you need to tell your story. I'm Stephen Alexander, I'm the owner of Cumbres.
I think design thinking, at least in the context of what Allied and I do, is really understanding how people react to the environment that surrounds them. We recognize that the ability to build large structures on top of the heritage structures, which people valued so highly, was really feasible. And it allowed us to retain the best of old and also to incorporate the best of the new. The design attributes that appealed to people were very definite. They were high ceilings, post and beam structural frames, hardwood floors, exposed interior brick. Light is critical, air is critical, and finally, openness. And then on the exterior, it's variation, which is why people love neighborhoods. Probably the biggest revelation about design is that it can be a very profitable element of what is generally thought of as a very prosaic business, real estate. Good design actually pays huge dividends for people who own and develop real estate and for people who use it. Design for us is creating a great canvas and then allowing the tenants to actually paint on it. My name is Michael Emery. I'm the President and Chief Executive Officer of Allied Properties REIT.
The way that we're looking at least in my experience with education, was there's a question and there's an answer, and that answer's in the back of the book. But how do we ask questions that don't have a specific answer?
We should try things with the risk that they might not work, because if something's not working, that means you took a good risk and you've learned something and you've grown.
Teachers are leaders, and when they're really effective, what you see is you see kids transform.
For me, being mathematically powerful means being able to use the ideas you have in the service of solving challenging problems, some of which you encounter in real-world contexts.
We're starting to understand the intangibles of intelligence, and understanding that EQ is actually quite important, and it's just as fundamentally important as IQ. When we start to put those two together, we're going to see some pretty exciting things happen inside of young people.
This student drew from his experiences as a member of the school's Makers Club. He extended his learning designing the chassis of his group's mousetrap car using software called SketchUp and printing it on the school's 3D printer.
I got to 3D print something that was really strong. It was one object and it was really light because it was hollowed plastic.
Using technology deepened his learning and problem-solving skills as he used trial and error to recreate the piece more than once in order to achieve a successful design.
The winter illustrated to us, the need more than ever to make changes. And not only is it from a systems perspective, but also some of our processes that we have in place and the need to have processes that can be modified to accommodate the increasing volume. So we have to do different things at different times.